I'm San Francisco Chief of Police Bill Scott. The origins of Black History Month go back nearly a century. In 1926, a pioneering Black historian and educator, Dr. Carter G. Woodson, chose a week in February to observe Negro History Week. The timing was no accident. It united two traditions Black Americans had already been celebrating for decades: Abraham Lincoln's birthday on February 12th and Frederick Douglass's birthday on February 14th. For Dr. Woodson, educating people about Black history didn't just mean looking backwards. To me, he wrote, real education means to inspire people to live more abundantly, to learn to begin with life as they find it, and make it better. Growing up in Birmingham, Alabama, I knew early that the arc of Black history went through my hometown, even before I was old enough to fully understand why. Just 1 year before I was born, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King wrote his history-making letter from Birmingham jail. To his critics, who questioned why an outsider from Georgia was stirring up trouble in Alabama, Dr. King replied simply, "I am in Birmingham because injustice is here." If anyone doubted it at that time, they saw its horrific truth only a few months later when a bombing at our local 16th Street Baptist Church killed 4 Black girls ages 11 to 14 in September 1963. 3 of those 4 little girls were students of my wife's father, and he served as a pallbearer in a funeral that must have been unimaginable to any school teacher or family friend, let alone to family members. For my family and my wife's family, some aspects of Black history aren't just what we learned about in school or watched on TV. They're what we grew up hearing about at the dinner table. Images and films we see today of Birmingham police in the 1960s spraying fire hoses, sicking dogs on protesters, and worse, many of those protesters were my family members and my family's friends. It was real for us growing up. When I decided to pursue a law enforcement career after graduating from the University of Alabama, I couldn't have guessed my path would again cross an arc of history. I was a rookie cop with the Los Angeles Police Department when officers in my own department apprehended and savagely beat a Black motorist after a high-speed chase on March 3, 1991. Rodney King was about my age, and the beating he suffered at the hands of LAPD officers was a worldwide wake-up call about police brutality and racism. It was also a personal wake-up call to me that caused me to question my department and my chosen profession. But the real wake-up call didn't come until after the criminal trial of involved officers, which found none of them guilty of excessive force. On April 29, 1992, I was on duty when the LA riots erupted over the Rodney King case, and I stayed on duty for most of the next 6 days in what a special committee of the California legislature later called the worst multi-ethnic urban conflict in United States history. When it was over, 63 people were dead, nearly 2,400 more were injured. Countless buildings, businesses, and livelihoods were destroyed. At a formative moment in my career, I had a front row seat to history that I wouldn't wish on anyone. I saw what happens when communities feel betrayed by their criminal justice system, when police lose the legitimacy of those they serve, and when justice too long delayed is justice denied, as Dr. King wrote in that letter from a Birmingham jail. The lessons of history have guided me in my career ever since, and it's why doing justice in all its forms is my life's work. To me, the value of Black History Month is exactly what Dr. Carter G. Woodson intended it to be. Not solely what it informs us, but how it inspires us to learn to begin life as we find it and make it better. We honor Black history best not just by learning its lessons, but by furthering its progress, each of us in every generation, and doing our part to bend the arc of history toward justice for all.